Frida, Reba, Darcy here, and one Patricia O'Connor on what is a windy and 50-degree sunny day here in Alameda, California. I hope this day finds you well. Like I said, it's pretty breezy out. You can maybe see, it's not a matter of luck when I point the camera today. The pine tree right next to us is just swinging and swaying in the breeze. And the air is just full of the sound of the hissing sound of wind going through all those pine needles. And so that brings up a good question. What do I have to worry about wind here? To what degree? Well, let's look. You can see, for instance, my ponderosa, which hangs out farther than anything on the balcony, gently rocking in the breeze. It is in the environment that is as close to what it would ask for as I can make it, which is to say that it's in a it's on a south-facing overhang, which should be ideal. So this guy can take the wind, and so I'm not really concerned about the rocking. I am kind of concerned about how that translates down there and whether or not that's going to wear on the wire of the base of the tree. But I'm going to just go with it for now and see what happens rather than be all evasive and, might be just absolutely fine with the tree. But you can also see the cork bark oak. Its oak leaves don't even seem to be moving. That's because of the wall there. So the difference between a fair amount of wind and no wind seems to be a game of a matter of inches. So to that degree, I think my little pine is okay. I think my little pine would be okay. I've also noticed that the leaves on this guy are not moving much, but I have noticed the blooms are blowing around like there. So we do get a little bit of wind. It might hit this wall over here and just kind of wrap around a little, but I don't think it's excessive. All of the foliage on this tree is fairly, oaks can be kind of solid and like sometimes maybe a little harder to move around, but its foliage is pretty light and you can see some movement but not a whole lot. I don't think it's probably just getting good air exchange. So I'm just going to use this as an opportunity to show you how everybody's looking. Here's my Kodaheim maple forest hiding behind sweet potato. Let me just slide slightly. Here we go. This is a little look at how it looks. It's with all the little new round of leaves coming out. It's another one that comes out with those real pretty salmon colors. And there's a little look at Haas, our little ponderosa. And here is a look at our bougainvillea, which has gotten back to yellow because last night was fairly cold. I let it go down. I let it hang out in the high 40s, I think, like 48 or something, and then yellow leaves. It'll be back. So that's the new look at our little oak. I've got it kind of back in its own position, but turned out of the sun to where it's not getting such direct light, but I still want it to get some. Also, it gets some filtered because there are trees in front of it. The little pine tree is there. It's looking real good. Sweet potato is looking real good and doing nice little things there. The oak, this little guy, my California coastal oak, that's what we're going to settle on. Just flushing out with stuff all over. It's got that brilliant, beautiful salmon color of all those shoots. They're just really, bold colors coming out with that guy. Focus. Come on, there you go. Thank you. Love seeing all these colors. So, but yeah, it's quite It's quite cool, and it is our Tuesday drop. And this is the look at all the little shoots coming out and all the new round of needles coming out on our cork bark, Japanese black pine. And now that I've rotated the cork bark oak into its position where it's kind of bowing at us, we get a better look at all the little things that are busting out on this side. And I'm not going to get in a real big hurry to wire this or prune it back. I'm just going to let things get a little harder before I put any wire to them, so I won't scar anything up. This will be some secondary stuff that's getting made, so I should try to probably mind my P's and Q's a little better with that and not do some of the blacksmith work that happens while I'm learning to do wiring. But this will be out of hand in a minute. You know, I'll probably take that and put a little energy in it here before too long, or it'll get really hard to manage. 1 minute, it's too little probably to be messing with, and a minute later, it would almost take a cable to deal with it. But yeah, that's what's going on there. And while we're sitting there looking at the other end, you can see all of those buds coming out all over. I'm just really happy with all of the back buds that I'm seeing everywhere on this tree. And already some of the stuff that's grown in the 2 years that I've had it is already starting to develop bark on it and stuff. So I think that's really good also. Look at all the little shoots coming out over here and over here. And I started noticing, I think I showed you last time, I started noticing shoots coming out on my little cypress over on the show hen table. But yeah, everything is just kind of doing what it, they're talking about the weather getting a cold snap coming up. I'm not sure when that is. I've checked this week's forecast for me, and it doesn't look like. They might have been talking about in the higher elevations, what I'd heard, or maybe it was next week. But so far for my weather, it today is it, and then I think tomorrow might be a little warmer, and then warmer throughout the week. I saw mid-60s in that, I believe. So that suits me to a T. That'll suit my little trees to a T. We could probably get some more winter weather, and you know, that wouldn't hurt us or set us back if we don't, you know, unless we get some kind of freezing temps or something. But I don't think that's real likely. We haven't had a freezing temp this winter yet, so I guess there's two ways of looking at that. You could say, yeah, well, that makes us really do, or you could say, yeah, that makes that starting to look less likely. But anyway, we are seeing buds coming out all over our trees, and we think that's just awesome. And yeah, you know, it's not hard to look at the bright side when the bright side is stuff just budding out all over your bonsai trees. Kind of hard not to love that. So yeah, there's just like you see those little salmon colored little dots and little nodes just wanting to pop out all over the place. This is going to be a good year, it looks like, for my oaks, and I also think it's going to be a good year for my ponderosa, for my big ponderosa. It's getting ready to do all kind of things there. I'm gonna take the little over the cliff look down at all the little clusters starting in the middle of those, limbs, in the middle of those shoots. So yeah, I think that's all going to be really cool watching that stuff pop out. Bam, bam, bam. I hope your day is going well. Our day is going well. Like I said, it's pretty airish out. It would be, it wouldn't feel so cool except that the wind is fairly constant. So yeah, it like takes the heat away from you fairly quickly. But I don't see, on the broad front in our little pocket here in the balcony, we're getting some what just looks like to me like decent air. Look, the blooms on the wisteria, they're gently blowing, but when the tree is swinging next to us, these guys don't look like they're getting whipped around too much. So, and then you just barely see a few needles on the black pine there in the little brown pot in front, sweet potato. You barely see a couple of needles on it even moving, and nothing moving on the forest. So I think we're kind of sheltered from the wind, even closer to the rail, because like I was showing you, when the ponderosa is rocking and moving, there's barely any leaves even moving right here. So yeah, I think that works out. Where are you guys going? So I think that works out. Probably gonna start backing off the water on this a little. There's this guy will curl the leaves a little when it's dry, so I've been watering it. I've been watering it pretty good here lately. Letting it dry out about not a day or so, but not really letting it dry out. I've been just kind of probably going to start, but it's putting out so many shoots and it doesn't seem to mind it. So yeah, but I can roll back on the water some. I think the moss on the base here is a little too green for an oak tree. Just a little fault. The tree doesn't really show. Isn't really telling me that, but the moss is. The moss is telling me it's really happy. So that might be a little too much. Look how much growth. If this thing would just focus for me. Look how much back budding we have on this guy. That's just gonna be really. I'm really pleased with all of this. Yeah. Tell me about it, Mr. Crow. Whenever I go out to walk Frida's, we get crows all around us showing off, because all last year, every time I would walk Rosie, I would feed the crows peanuts until the guys at the apartments told me to knock it off. That's what I kind of like. Yeah, I don't know. I did it for a while longer, but in the end, it was also kind of pricey. But now, whenever I see the crows, they're like, "Yeah, that's that crazy lady that always had all those peanuts." To my side of that argument was, I would see those same crows hitting up the bags that were at the In-N-Out Burger. So it wasn't like I was my feeding them peanuts was a big diversion from nature. They would see me at the In-N-Out Burger and go, "Hey, we're over here eating burgers, and there's that nice lady who always gives us peanuts." But yeah, they're really crafty. They would team up and go through all the bags in the garbage for French fries. Yeah, they're really smart. Anyway, I'm talking about crows digging in the garbage, so I guess that's probably maybe a good time to call this off. But the light is so pretty. The trees are starting to come out a little bit. It's such a good feeling to see everything doing that. That's going to be our little leader there. I guess that guy will be our little leader there. You were going to be our leader all along. Oh yeah, as promised. It's got a coating of cut paste on it, but that's going to be our little shoot. You can focus. Come on, do it. Thank you. That's the little shoot coming out on the top of the cypress. And I am, on this little smaller cypress, I am seeing the top of the pot swell up. So evidently the roots are having a big time underneath little rumble going on down in there. And that's about all we have going on. We checked back with the guys at work, and they said that the little schedule change that was posted was temporary. I said that was so not a problem, but wanted to point out that if they were wanting to change the schedule, I think that would have had probably a negative effect on the readiness of my department and stuff. And they said they agreed it was just something temporary and that I wasn't to worry about it. I mean, they didn't put it that way. They were really nice about it, going so far as to say what had made that necessary had actually not come to pass. And did I want to take the 3 days midweek this time or not? And I said, back at you, up to you. I don't mind helping. So I go back, I'm right on my regular schedule. So tomorrow is just another tricky day in the office, and then I go in Friday. So our next post will be our Thursday post, and then we'll do our Saturday post as per. But we're just continuing with this little springtime roll world. I don't have any real projects going on yet, except it's about time to start for earnest the springtime ritual with the pine trees, which will be up there feeding, I guess. And some of the other trees will start going into spring mode with those guys too. So it'll be time to up the research and make sure I remember what I'm supposed to do with my different species. I think my cypress trees look like they're drying out a little early from their watering. That could be so. They might need some more water before the day's out. Anyway, we both hope you have a wonderful day. We are having a wonderful day. I don't see anybody at the pool. Kind of hard to figure. It's 50 and windy. But the crows seem to be liking it. Frida and I are liking it, but then we're hanging out in the house and enjoying it from the inside. Like and subscribe if you have not already. That'll help our algorithm and keep us moving forward, which is, that's what we intend to do anyway, so might as well. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching.